For 3 months in 1888, fear and panic stalked the streets of London's East End. During these months 5 women were murdered and horribly mutilated by a man who became known as Jack the Ripper, although some believe the true number to have been 11. Whitechapel in the East End was like a festering sore on the face of Victorian London in the late 19th century. The overcrowded population lived in hovels, the streets stank of filth and refuse, and the only way to earn a living was by criminal means, and for many women, prostitution. The only relief from this miserable life was a bottle of gin bought for a few pence, to give blessed oblivion. The terror started on Friday, August 31st, when the body of Marion Nichols, aged 42, was found in Durward Street. Her face was bruised and her throat had been slashed twice and nearly severed. Her stomach had been hacked open and slashed several times. She was subsequently acknowledged to be the first of the Ripper's victims. On the September 8th, the second victim was found. She was Annie Chapman, a 47-year-old prostitute. Her body was found in a passageway behind 29 Hanbury Street, her few possessions laid out next to her body. Her head was almost severed and her stomach torn open and pulled apart. On September 28th, a letter was received at the Central News Agency signed Jack the Ripper, threatening more murders. The name caught the public imagination when it first appeared in the newspapers and was used ever afterwards. Whitechapel was now in uproar. Riots broke out as hysterical crowds attacked anyone carrying a black bag, as a rumor had spread that the Ripper carried his knives in such a bag. The September 30th was a grim day. The Ripper carried out 2 murders within minutes of each other. Elizabeth Stride was the unfortunate woman, also a prostitute, who was found first, at 1 a.m., behind 40 Berners Street. When found, blood was still pouring from her throat, and it seemed that the Ripper had been disturbed in his grisly business. At 1:45 a.m., the body of Catherine Eddowes, 43, was found just a few minutes' walk away in an alley between Mitre Square and Duke Street. Her body had been ripped open and her throat slashed. A trail of blood led the police to a doorway nearby where a message had been chalked. It read, "The Jews are not the men to be blamed for nothing." For some inexplicable reason, the head of the Metropolitan Police, Sir Charles Warren, ordered it to be rubbed out. So what could have been a valuable clue was destroyed. The horror of the double murder gripped London. Rumors now began to circulate the Ripper was a mad doctor, a Polish lunatic, a Russian czarist, and even an insane midwife. Another letter was received by the Central News Agency in which the Ripper said he was sorry he had not been able to send the heirs to the police as he had promised. On the November 9th, the Ripper struck again. Mary Jeanette Kelly was the youngest of the women murdered. She was just 25 and an attractive girl. She was found in her room at Miller's Court, which ran off Dorset Street. Mary, or what was left of her, was lying on the bed. The scene in the room was appalling. The rent collector who found her said, "I shall be haunted by this for the rest of my life." The panic and public outcry caused by this murder led to the resignation of Sir Charles Warren, Chief of Police. Mary was the last of the Ripper's victims. His reign of terror ended as suddenly as it began. For 100 years, various names have been suggested as the killer of these women. To this day, the true identity of Jack the Ripper remains a mystery. Some believe he was a doctor or surgeon, given the surgical precision of his murders. Others speculate that he was a member of the royal family or a high-ranking government official. But whoever he was, his legacy of terror and violence has endured for over a century, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lies within the human soul.